Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Rico Auto Industries Q4 FY2024 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Ms. Hazel Rathod from Essential Technologies. Thank you, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Rico Auto Industries Q4 FY24 earnings conference call. From the management, we have with us Mr. Arvind Kapoor, Chairman, CEO and MD, Mr. Kaushindra Verma, Executive Director, Mr. R.K. Nilani, Executive Director, Mr. Rakesh Sharma, Chief Financial Officer, and Mr. B.M. Jha, Company Secretary. I now request Mr. Arvind Kapoor to take us through the key opening remarks, after which we can open the floor for the question and answer session. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Good evening. My name is Arvind Kapoor, and thank you so much for joining the Rico Auto Investor Conference. I'm pleased to be here to discuss our financials, and we will talk to you very transparently on what happened this year. My gratitude to all our shareholders, customers, and employees for the unwavering support and commitment. This year, we are all aware of the macroeconomic challenges that are there. There is a fluctuation of the raw material pricing. There's a supply chain disruption that took place because of the Red Sea that has been happening. So all these things are happening, but despite that, we are trying to meet our customer requirements and also stand by our commitments. Our efforts to expand into electric and hybrid vehicles is on. That is yielding very good results. We have been able to get more orders from companies like BMW and Toyota and Aisin, etc. And our focus is on expanding on the market, which is the future market, which is the electric vehicle and the hybrid vehicles. However, this year we faced many challenges. We had promised a target of almost 2,600 crores. We did not achieve it this year. The reasons I'm going to share with you. One is the early end of program of GKN and PSA. This is in our export program. Both the companies, they had told us earlier that the program will carry until the end of the year. They had to stop this immediately. However, having said that, for GKN, we've already received the new orders, which will, the start of production would be somewhere in the middle of first year. Renault Nissan was the other disappointment that we had in India. The sales in India did not pick up at all, and they kept on telling us that to retain the capacities and that they will be able to achieve the targets, but that was a total failure. So as a result of which, we have removed a lot of equipment from those lines, and we're going to use them for the other programs, the new programs that we have, and also use them for the capacity expansion that is required for Maruti Suzuki and the other customers. And there was also a delay in start of production for new programs at our customer end. We were ready for it. We had made the investments, but the customers, they delayed the program. And in some cases, the delay was almost about 1 year. But now we see the movement taking place there. Despite that, we did manage to recover some sales by getting a better share of business through Maruti and also through Toyota. Toyota, of course, we 100%, but through Maruti, we got a better share of the market, and our sales did go up in Maruti. We are projecting a revenue growth of conservative revenue growth of 15%. Last year, we had projected a much higher revenue, but this year we are we are very conservative on our figures this year. We are very, very confident that we will achieve them. And because in this year, we will also be starting some of the delayed programs of Aisin, which got delayed by almost a year. That will start this year. BMW has, in some cases, started, and some of the programs start by the end of the year. GKN would start by June, July. this year. And we are also expanding capacity for Toyota and Maruti Suzuki in particular. Maruti Suzuki, we've done more businesses and also got a larger share of the current businesses that we are supplying. Besides this, we are also added new components from Knorr-Bremse, Case New Holland, and Piaggio. These are some of the companies that I'm naming here. As we look ahead, we remain cautiously optimistic. The global automotive market is poised for transformation. With advancements in autonomous driving, electrification, and connectivity, Rico Auto is well positioned to capitalize on these trends, leveraging our technological expertise and strategic partnerships. In conclusion, I would like to reiterate our commitment to delivering long-term value to our shareholders. We are confident in our strategic direction and the capabilities of our dedicated team. Had it not been for some of the collapses of our customers that took place this year, our results would have been far better. And we will go into details. Before we take the question and answer, we would like to talk to you on the details of the savings that we have done this year and the cost impacts that were there. My colleague Rakesh Sharma would be talking about it.
Hi everyone. Yeah, so talking a little in detail about the financials, like at console level, we lost around 140 CR of revenues. And because of that, we had to bear the loss of gross contribution to the tune of 58 CR. However, in spite of that, we have been able to maintain our EBITDA levels and improve a bit. So it is around 50-60 bits we have been able to improve upon the EBITDA level. The reason for that is that we have made major savings in sales and distribution expenses to the tune of around 25 CR. And in repairs and maintenance also, since we have new machineries in place and all these expenses were incurred earlier, so this year we were able to save around 10 CR in case of repairs and maintenance also. Simultaneously, in case of power and fuel and stores and spares also, which are variable expenses as far as manufacturing is concerned, we have been able to make major savings. And that resulted in this maintenance of EBITDA levels. However, at the PBT level, we lost majorly because of the gross contribution loss. And apart from that, we are cost on account of depreciation and finance cost. These increased. The reason is very obvious in case of depreciation because last year also we did a lot of capex. And last year during the year, gradually these expenses were got capitalized. But this year for the whole year we had to bear the depreciation cost for that. And that resulted in an increase of around 7 CR of depreciation. And in case of finance cost, although we have made repayment of around 100 CR during this fiscal, in spite of that, we had a lot of savings on that account. But since it was gradual, quarter on quarter we made repayments totaling to 100 CR in a year, we had to incur some additional costs on front of the rate increase by the government. If you remember last year, regularly RBI was increasing the rates last year and last year, but our arrangements were such that, especially in case of term loans, in many cases it was a year when it has to be reset. So we got advantage of that last year that the rates got reset after a long time. Where the arrangement was for 1 year. In some cases, it was 6 months also. So, because of the rate increase, we had to increase this cost of debt. So, this year again, we are expecting that there will not be much of increase in the interest cost. Rather, we will be able to save on both the accounts. One, since we are repaying, and this year again, we will be repaying around 90 CR of our debt. So, and interest costs also, if not going down, at least it won't increase. That is our expectation. So that will be good this year. Apart from these two costs in manpower also there is a bit of increase. Although we have been able to reduce our white collar numbers by around 400, more than 400 persons, the headcounts have been reduced. And that is going to give us the permanent saving. But as far as this year is concerned, because it was full and final and other settlements were done, so one-time costs we had to incur. Because of that reason, at console level, at standalone level, around 3-4 CR of additional cost we had to bear, apart from the savings that we could get. And at console level, since our turnover in our subsidiary companies increased substantially, because of that, in absolute terms, some manpower cost increase was there. However, in percentage terms, it was not much. So that I think explains about our profitability position.
So we are confident that this year, since we will be increasing by a minimum 15% this year, and the other thing that we did last year was that we did a lot of cleaning up. There were some very small volumes of components that were going as aftermarket for the OEM, which were almost 10-year life of which was over by almost about 7, 8 years or 10 years, and the requirement is very low. We were keeping a lot of equipment idle for that. And that also we've surrendered, or we've given enough quantities to the customer, and been able to spare that equipment also for utilization on the current capacity. So all the cleaning has taken place last year, and you see that this year the buzz is absolutely different. The excitement is there, and we are very confident that we'll exceed the targets that we are talking of today. In the defense, last year we could bill about 4.5-5 crores only, and this year the orders are much higher, but we are taking a conservative look. We think we will bill around 50 to 70 crores this year, and our internal target is of course over 150 crores, but in the budget we have taken only 50-60 crores, I think, taken, yeah. And that's what we take in the budget. And on some of the customers who did not perform last year, mainly Renault, we are not going by the figures that they have given us. We've taken a conservative view on the surprise to them. And but on GK and on the smoke front, we are okay because the samples have been approved, and the components would start in the month of June, and we should be able to come back to the supplies that we were doing for our exports to GKN and BMW and the other customers. Now we are open to questions.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handset while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. First question is from the line of Rahil Shah from Crown Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Firstly, how has Q1 been so far? And what are expectations when it comes to numbers for Q1? Apart from, you already said for the year you're expecting at least 15%, you're targeting that, and you're confident to achieve. So, but if you can give a general idea, how has Q1 been so far, so we can understand how the year can be. And secondly, also if you can guide us on EBITDA margins for the entire year as well. Those are the first 2 questions.
The Q1, you see, most of the programs start from Q2 onwards. In Q1 also, there is an improvement in Maruti and our supplies to Maruti and to Hero also, and to also another customer we added is Suzuki two-wheelers. So our sales have already started there, and so there's a lot of traction that's taking place. But from June onwards, you will see a big jump that would actually happen. So most of the investments were done last year, and those we'll start using from June onwards. And our internal EBITDA margin is plus 12%, but here we'd like to come at 11.5%.
So the corrections which you're expecting will be from June onwards. So so the jump in numbers will be seen from June onwards. That's what you're saying?
From June onwards, yes, absolutely.
Okay. And you're saying 11.5% for the whole year you're expecting?
Yes.
EBITDA margins. Any ups and downs, like will it be consistent throughout the quarters? You'll be seeing like to start with, will it be lower, higher?
At the end of the year, probably 12% plus. You'll see the progress taking place over time. And this is based on the savings that we've already done and incurred this year, mainly on the white collar front that Rakesh mentioned. And that's the permanent change that has happened. And the power cost savings is also there. Solar has also been introduced almost something like that.
Main plants
The main plants already have solar, so there will be a lot of power savings there also. So most of the actions have been done or are in the process of getting completed.
Okay. And so what's wrong with the defense orders? Are you saying the orders are good, but then you're saying that you'll be executing lower?
We get worried about the defense mainly because then approval issue was that is quite a cycle. We're getting used to it, and now since we are in that cycle, this year our target is above 100, but आपको हम 50-60 बोल रहे हैं.
Okay.
Let my colleague Ish also talk about this. He looked after the.
Hi, good evening. Just to add on to what Chairman shared right now, so we are absolutely confident on what we are taking on internally. Essentially, as a target, what we shared, which is around about 60, is something because of the gestation time of project. What's happened is in the selection year, so most of the projects which actually have seen, it takes about 2 years for the projects to be assigned and on financial requirements, and then it come up as a tender. So most of these are valid tenders which have actually entered the market, and we are the leading players in the tenders we pick up. Those tenders, those files for the last 2 to 3 months have been at a standstill. And that's the reason, from that standpoint only, we've kind of just hedged on that target. Otherwise, internally, we're very confident. We're very confident now with whichever way the results go. If there's a continuation, those projects stand to go, and we are very, very well poised to move towards that target.
Okay. Thank you so much for answering. I'll get back with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Before we move to the next question, a reminder to the participants to ask a question. You may press star and 1. Next question is from the line of Varma Dattala, who is an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi everyone, this is Varma. A quick question on actually the target of this year, the revenue and the profit side. Since last 2 years, we mostly saying the same thing, right? It's 12% to 15%.
Can you be a little louder, please?
Yeah, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah, just need some guidance on revenue on the profit side because since last 2 years, we are expecting to grow 12 to 15%, but we're mostly actually haven't done any progress on that front. That is first question. The second one is on the defense side. Since last couple of years, we are kind of estimating some 100 plus, but never materialized, right, in the defense side. To be honest, in last quarter con call that we had actually sometime in end of February or end of April, sometime of more than half of that quarter, we estimated that we could get 700 revenue, right? Repeatedly asked a couple of times. The estimated revenue being confirmed that it would be around 700 crores. But still, we got only 530. So I'm just a bit confused with the guidance actually. Could you please confirm how much you can expect this year? Not optimistic way, but general, realistic way. How much you can expect this financial year, the total revenue and the margins. And also on the defense side, do you really need to actually consider any revenue at all from the defense side? Yeah, because last 2, 3 years, defense side, do we really get anything at all this year? Because the last 2 years, it's not actually that much, right? The 25 crores, 40 crores of we talk a lot about defense, but contribution-wise, not much, right, in revenue.
Yeah.
So it's kind of giving a wrong signal to like the investors like me. We expect a lot, but end of the quarter we get usually getting disappointed in the first few quarters.
So on the defense side, if you look at the tenders which are there or what we are bidding for, it's quite a very large order that we are bidding for. And in fact, the orders we had received last in the month of February, and those were to be, it is very such a slow process in getting the approvals and everything. So that, but whatever we could manage, we did manage, and we are still going through the same cycle. And many of the products are already lying ready, and we are ready to ship, waiting for the clearances. So defense is at the moment not under our control, but we are pushing it. We are getting into that cycle and more, and also understanding how to handle the people and everyone. So that you'll see major results happening this year itself. And every quarter, I think, will show you some better results as far as defense is concerned. On the other side, last year we had taken an aggressive figure, and we were confident that we'll exceed whatever we were promising. And this is absolutely based on the commitment by the customers also. And PSA and GKN, the end of program came in much earlier than whatever was anticipated. Of course, they do compensate us for the early closure, but that portion of our revenues actually came down. And Renault-Nissan, they let us down absolutely. Because in Chennai, our major investment is for the Renault-Nissan OEM plant that is there in Chennai. And so this time we've discounted the sales of Renault-Nissan. If they do well, the capacities are already in place, we'll utilize those capacities, but we have removed a lot of equipment so that we could divert it to the other capacities where we require to use, where we need equipment to be put in. So we are very confident that the figure that we have 15% guidance we're giving it, we'll achieve this, and we'll do much better than this.
Just for confirmation, like if you remove the defense at all from this financial year, how much revenue are you expecting? If you remove the defense from this year, exclude defense, how much revenue you are expecting to get this financial year?
The total figure that we are getting is close to 25-30, and the defense we have taken only 60 in that, so it comes to about 2480.
Okay, so basically we are expecting 2450 around that for this financial year, yeah? That's gross revenue. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Mohan Kumar, who is an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Please go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to ask you one question, sir, that what are your comments on the rural uptake since several other companies are reporting good growth from the rural market?
Please come again.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Can you repeat the question, please?
So, what are your comments on the rural uptake since several other companies are reporting good growth from the rural market?
There is a lot of excitement in the rural market, and it is being predicted that bulk of the increase will actually come from the rural market, and we are expecting a good monsoon also this year, and so I think the rural market will probably do a better job, better than this actually helps us, because then the two-wheeler market also improves and the low-end vehicles cars also go up. So that is a lot of benefit to us. And so at the moment the market looks good, even though there is in some cases there's a extra stock of cars and the low-end motorcycles which are lying in the market, but we are hoping that after the elections there would be a lot of traction that will take place.
Okay, sir, that was helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1. Next question is from the line of Pratik Patel, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, so my question is regarding what is the repayment plans for FY25 and FY26?
During this current year, we will be repaying around 90 CR of turnover. Turnover, sorry. Term loan. Turnover, my goodness. Sorry. Next year, around 80 CR.
Okay, and during FY26?
80 CR.
Okay, fine.
And this currently we repaid around 100 CR.
Okay. And will you be able to elaborate on the land acquired?
Okay. This land we acquired in Hosur, and this is in Tamil Nadu and very close to on the Bangalore on the Karnataka border. And this is one of our customers, Toyota. They asked us to acquire land to get closer to them so that they could transfer a lot of businesses which they produce, the components that they produce in their plants to our plants. And so they wanted us to be close by, and that's the reason we bought this land.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's it from us.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Bhavesh Shah, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Very good afternoon to every one of you. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, please.
So my question to you is, what is going to be the capex of the Hosur plant first and foremost? And my second question is about the land bank that we need to capitalize on. Are there any plans for that?
We are working on the details of the Hosur plant. There would be a lot of equipment that would be transferred from the Toyota plant itself. So we are hoping that Toyota will. I don't think that will be a depreciated price of the equipment that we'll pick up from Toyota. Of course, building we'll have to construct ourselves. Building and the utilities we'll have to make ourselves. And along with that, we'll also be looking for new components from companies like CSA and TBS, which are very close by there in Hosur. And for that, of course, we will be making investments, but we are in talks with the customers as to what is their requirement in that. We are still working that out. But initially, it is a plan for Toyota. So the investment will be mainly in the building and not too much on the machinery side. And as far as the land bank is concerned, we have been talking to people. If at all we are saving after all the transfers and everything happens, if I save only 250 crores, then I don't think that the board is going to say yes to that, because it's a very large plant to be shifted. If at all the saving is above 500 to 600 total saving, that is after the expenses of transfer, etc. That's the time that we would like to actually do it. And so we are discussing various potential buyers, and let's see what happens. So that's the ballpark figure that I'm giving you. We are in the market, but if we get a good saving, then only I think there would be an interest in doing it.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Aman Vij from Astute Investment Management. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. My question is on the defense business. So can you give an update on the fuse business? What is happening with it? There was supposed to be a retender that.
Defense fuse.
So yes. So on the fuse business, we have been one of the largest and oldest suppliers to one of the DPSUs, which is what we've been doing. There was a massive tender which was delayed by nearly 4 years. As of this year, it has been given to 2 DPSUs, one of which we are the largest providers for.
What is the tender? It has been beyond the tender.
Beyond the tender. So the requirement is being met by the two DPSUs, and we are actively engaged, and we see a huge traction on that. We are already in conversations. It's one of the tenders which we've closed in terms of the bid, and it should be opened up over the next 1 month. So we will get to know then. In one of the meetings, I mentioned that whether we win the tender or not, this big tender that was there, which the government finally withdrew, whoever gets it, they will need to buy from us in any case. So that's because we got huge capacity to manufacture the fuse housing, etc. So we would be engaged in any case.
Sure. And just to understand the size of this tender, was it a small tender like a lakh or fuses, or was it a very big tender?
No. They see that tender was very huge. That was the total was I think 10,000 crores or something, and about 1,000 crores a year, and spread over 10 years. That was a huge tender, but then the government, I think there was so much confusion that was created, and especially when the mindset changes from the PSUs, you go into the private sector. So that was a total chaos that happened. So finally they cancelled the tender. And now, of course, the requirement of fuels is huge. The government of India, they need to get the earlier they were importing some of them, but now they don't want to import. It's made in India, totally. And so the tender will be it's in lakhs, but there are two PSUs who are doing it. I think total would be about 500 million put together. That's what they would be producing here.
There are various splits, and that's something which is strategic to the Army. It's more from a training perspective because the Indian Army needs training. So like it was mentioned, it is nearly a couple of lakhs to it depends on how we utilize it over a quarter. But we position ourselves mainly on the machining side, which is a huge market. So the requirement is huge by the Army, and on the machining side, we are the number one suppliers to one of the DPS. So we hope to fulfill that requirement over there.
Yeah, sorry, just one clarification. So yes, there was this big tender, 10,000 crore or 6,000 crore. So, but you also talked about just now that in the next 1 month we are expecting the results of the tender, which is
those are apart from the fuses. We have not taken the value of the fuses also at the moment, but we've taken whatever is in our hand. These are
so like I said, this is part of training ammunition, which keeps coming up every quarter.
So at the moment we are making those ranges, etc. No?
Okay, this is the range one. This is not for the fuse, right?
The value is given you for the ranges at the moment. Ranges and what's the other thing that
baffle ranges and container ranges. That's a separate product. I thought we were talking about the fuses.
Yeah, baffle ranges and container ranges.
Yeah, I know about that. You had explained earlier also. So the 1 month, the results which will come is for this training and the range one.
These ranges, some of the lines ready with us, we are ready to ship them. The only thing is approvals and etc.
Sure. And when do we see some contribution in revenues from this fuse to the DPSU provider? Do you see something in FY25 or do you see it only in FY26?
The fuses. PSUs will have to deliver the fuses, otherwise they are incurring very heavy penalties to the government. So they have no choice but to buy them.
Sure. So you expect some revenue for our company from fuses this year?
Certainly that will happen. We have not taken into consideration, but we are very confident of it.
Okay. And the big scaling do you see will happen in FY26?
Yes, FY26. Yes, certainly. Mostly, you see the figure changing the year itself.
Okay. And we have chosen only one DPSC. We are not supplying to both DPSCs as of now.
We are talking to the other one also, but we were supplying regularly to one DPSC, but the other guy would also have a requirement. He would have a choice but to engage with us.
Sure. And sir, is it an exclusive contract or are there multiple suppliers to these DPSCs or the same kind of fuel?
No, they have multi suppliers, but then they need some of the there's an obligation to buy from the small scale industry, MSMEs, and so if MSMEs they lift about 15,000-20,000 pieces at a time, whereas we supply them much larger figure, and their requirement goes in millions, and of course they don't have a choice.
Yeah, in the bigger supply, sir, are there any other peers who are also having tie-up? Not the MSME, the small companies is okay, but in big, like we are supplying in big quantities, are there any other players who will also supply big quantities to the DPSU?
So it works two ways. On a training ammunition cycle, which is really to a quarter, in terms of the capacity needed, we are one of the largest, on a machining side. So, and ultimately on a bid system which works within the forces, they strategically give it to only 2 bids, or they might have a single bid. So it really is the need of the forces which determines how many players will pick that up, and that one player which will pick it up is solely based on capacity. We are one of the largest built to actually provide for that capacity which is needed to sustain this particular order.
Sure, so that helps. Final question is on the combined defense side. Where do you see our contribution for FY25 and FY26? Everything combined, all the products.
It's also, we have taken a very conservative figure, and what we are saying is that we'll cross 100, but 60 is what we are confirming at the moment. Otherwise, we should be about 120 or something. But we are confirming 60 because last year the whole thing got delayed, and we don't want to land up in the same situation again. And we want to declare whatever we have in hand, and what we are confident that won't be delivered. And so you see it double, triple every year. That's the way it will be going.
Yeah, FY25 you had answered. FY26, do you see this number be like 200, 300 also, or where do you see FY26?
It should be much above 200. 200, 300, yes.
Sure, sir. Thank you for answering the question.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Neha Sharma, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. I have just one question. So in FY25, what are the factors that will drive in the 15% growth in our top line? Can you just elaborate on the same?
It's mainly growth with Maruti Suzuki. There are major components at Maruti Suzuki, and our share of business is also going up. And our Maruti would also become earlier. Our supply to Maruti was just about 5% of our turnover. We'll be touching around 10 to 12% of our turnover then. And then ICEN is the other that will. Well, it's got delayed, but that's going to be a very important customer. Then besides that, Hero, they've had some issues with some suppliers, and they're diverting a lot of business to us, and that would be another increase that would happen. So these are, then GKN is the restart of GKN. Some of the business that end of life had happened it happened earlier. So that would also kick in by June, July. And besides that, then BMW also kicks in before the end of the year. These are the new electric vehicle components that actually kick in. So these are, then Nord-Brand is another company that we will be supplying to. And KSU Holland is the other company that we will be start supplying. Piaggio is the other company we will be supplying the clutches to. We won the orders for the clutches there. So all these are adding up now. Suzuki two-wheelers would be another company that is just added, and they diverted a lot of components to us. So these are some of the components, some of the companies. These are the newer businesses that we have won.
Okay. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. As there are no further questions from the participants, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for the closing comments.
Well, thank you so much, and we'd like to apologize for not having met the targets last year, but we are very confident that we'll exceed the targets that we are giving this year. And the profitability also would be much better. The savings have been done this year, and you will see them in the balance sheet in this coming year and this year. And these are the permanent savings now. Then if you look at the cost of power and cost of manpower and cost of others, everything is under control. The thing is that we need to have a turnover there once because that contribution actually helps all the bottom line. And we are very confident that we will exceed what we are committing today. Thank you so much for sparing the time.
Thank you. On behalf of Rico Auto Industries Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you all for joining us, and you may now disconnect your line.